my dear children. How are you all today? I hope you all are doing great. So children, for today's English lesson, we are going to continue with the first chapter from your Mastering Grammar book, the sentence. In our previous video lessons, you know that we have already finished discussing what sentences are. We have also known what phrases are and how to identify a subject and a predicate in a sentence. We have also gone through the kinds of sentences, namely the declarative, the imperative, interrogative and the exclamatory sentence, right? So for today's video lesson, we are going to continue with the exercise first because we have almost finished knowing about the imperative sentences. Now we will move to the exercise D. We have already finished in our previous video lessons A, B, C exercises. So you can go watch those videos and then you can finish those exercises. Okay. Today we will be doing number D, exercise D. Okay. So let's see what we are being told to do. Now this exercise is on page number 9 of your book. Tick the correct option to show what kind of sentence each is. Okay. So we have some sentences right here. You have to actually tick it. That means you have to tell it whether it is command, request, advice or suggestion, right? So you have to tick mark it. Now see first one, come here. Okay. Let me write it down because you will need to write this in your copy as well. So this is on page number 8, exercise D. We are continuing with the exercise first and then we will be moving to further explanation of interrogative sentences. First one is come here. So what do you think this is? A command, a suggestion, an advice or a request? See, there is no request here because there is no use of word please. So we can see it's right away a command, an instruction, right? So this is a command, you have to mark, tick on the command part. Okay. Now children, number 2, please come immediately. Please come immediately. What is this? What do you think? The word please itself says that it is a request. So you will be marking request a tick. Okay. You will tick the request option. Number 3, open the door. What do you think this is? This is a clear command. Someone is asking you to clearly open the door. So this is a command, open the door. This is not a suggestion. This is not an advice. This is not a request. So this is a command. Okay. Now number 4, please pass me the salt. Again it's a request with the word please we can see. Please pass me the salt. Children, you will have to write this in your notebook. Okay. So do this exercise in your notebook only. And this is request. Moving to number 5. Go left, then turn right and there you will find the school. So this is an instruction or a command. Go left, then turn right. Then turn right. And there you will find the school. And there you will find the school. So children, this sentence is, you can see there is instruction. So obviously this is command. So when you are instructed, you are given commands to do do something. Number 6, do not take medicines regularly. This is an advice. Do not take medicines regularly. You are being advised to not take medicines regularly. Okay, children, so this is an advice. So the first 6 questions of D exercise is right here. You can just take a screenshot quickly if you cannot write it that quick. Okay, so now moving to number 7. Stop the music at once. Stop the music at once. So this is also a command, children. Okay, because you are being asked, you are not requested here. You are just being told to stop it. Just stop it, and it's a command. So this is number 7. Now number 8. You should visit a doctor immediately. You should visit a doctor immediately. Immediately, okay? Now children, you can see there's an advice to this sentence. You are being advised to visit a doctor because your condition might be serious. So you should visit a doctor immediately is an advice. Now number 9, please help me find my book. Please help me find my book. So here's our request, because you can see the word please is there. So this is our request. You are going to tick request option. Here you are going to take the advice option, and here the command option. Okay, number 10. You can try this medicine. You can try this medicine. Medicine. It has no side effects. Okay, children, so this clearly is a suggestion, because it's on the person who is listening that they will be taking it or not, taking the medicine or not. So this is a suggestion that you may take it because it doesn't have any side effects. So children, with this we have finished our D exercise. Now before moving to interrogative sentences, before knowing about them, let's learn what we had learned about imperative sentences. So here in imperative sentences like these sentences are command, advices, suggestions, request. These kind of sentences, when you try to make all these things, the purpose is very clear. Either you instruct someone, or you command, or you request, or you give advice or suggestions, right? So with this one, we know that the subject is very much implied. Like when I am telling you here that please help me find my book, obviously I am telling you to find my book. So here the subject is implied, and this whole part is the predicate, right? So you must know that in an imperative sentence, the subject can be and cannot be implied. So you can see here it is not implied because you is very clearly mentioned. So when it is mentioned clearly, then the subject is very much visible, okay, very much predictable. You can find or you can spot the subject right there. So today, now we will be moving to the interrogative sentences. Okay, we have finished one more exercise. Now, what are interrogative sentences? When you ask questions using some sentences, like if I ask you, are you enjoying the lesson? Okay, so this can be a very good question. So when you ask questions, when the purpose of the sentence is to ask questions or to inquire of something, okay, when you want to make an inquiry, then you use these kind of sentences, then you frame these kind of sentences. So obviously you want answers for them. The questions must be having some answers. So those answers are usually the what? Declarative sentences or assertive sentences. Like it can be affirmative or it can be negative. So children, interrogative sentences we will be learning now. We will be learning about interrogative sentences. So first thing you must know about interrogative sentences is its definition, right? So what does it mean? What are these sentences? Interrogative sentences are those sentences which help us ask questions, okay? For example, what can be the example? Examples of questions can be a lot of things, a lot of statements, lots of sentences like where are you going? What are you doing? Are they coming today? Are they coming today? Okay. So you can see, if you observe these sentences, you will see that we have used two different kind of it. Okay. First one can be yes. The first one can be WH questions like this one, where and what. And the third one is an example of yes or no questions. What does that mean? If I will be asking you, if I ask you, are they coming today? So you can answer it in a yes or a no. Okay. So some questions are WH questions and some questions are yes and no, yes or no questions. So here you can also observe that there is a question mark at the end of each sentence. So this is one of the feature of interrogative sentences, that they will be having a question mark at the end of it. Okay. So here we can write two things about interrogative sentences. Let's write it down, what we can write. So two important points are, first one is they will be asking questions, ask questions, and second one is they end in question marks. Okay, question mark. So here, these are the two important things you must know about interrogative sentences before we move ahead with the rest of the explanation of these kind of sentences. Okay, so now children, moving to, I told you that these questions can be in two structure, right? First one can be of WH questions and the second one is yes or no questions. So you will be writing that down as well. So this is splitted into two type of questions. WH questions, okay, and yes or no questions. Okay, yes or no questions. So now you see what kind of WH question, who are you? Which book are you reading? Okay, so these two questions have WH word in it. Okay, so that's why we can say that this falls in the category of WH questions. Now, what are yes or no questions? Yes or no questions will have an answer in either yes or no. Let's see some of the examples. Now, one, are you okay or are you fine? Are you okay? Number two, will she reply to my letter? Will she reply to my letter? When you ask this question to someone, the answer can be in one word only, like yes or no. Are you okay? Yes. Okay. Will she reply to my letter? No. Okay. So these kind of questions are yes or no questions. So now, children, we will be studying the structure. Okay, we will be studying about the structure, how to frame a question. Okay, how do we make a question? So let's get started with it. Now observe these two kind of sentences. They have bought sweets. Okay. Let me write here structure so that you can understand that we are studying the structure of these kind of sentences. Okay. They have bought sweets. Now with this sentence, you can understand that this is a statement. I have already taught you what declarative statements or declarative sentences are. So this is a clear statement where I am saying that they have bought sweets, right? Now if I have to turn this, if I have to change this in interrogative sentence, how do I do that? Okay, let's find out. Now this auxiliary verb, you can see this is the auxiliary verb here. The auxiliary verbs are helping verbs. They help the main verb in framing a sentence. So they have this be verb, have verb and do verb are often the auxiliary verbs. Okay, so is, are, am, was, were, has, have, had, do, does, did, all these words are auxiliary verbs. So here you can see we have the have word here. Okay, so this is an auxiliary verb. What happens when you are framing a question? You bring this to the front. Okay, you begin the sentence with the auxiliary verb. So have will come first, then the subject or then the pronoun will follow. The subject follows. So have they, and the rest of it will remain same. So have they bought sweets? Do you see how easy it was to make this kind of sentence? So this becomes a question now. Now obviously with the presence of a question mark, because it's a question now. So this statement could have been easily changed into this question, right? We could easily change this sentence into a question. Now children, we will be learning about some more examples to help you understand better. Okay, are you coming with us? Now let's see here. You are coming with us. Suppose this is the statement. Yes, this is the statement. You are coming with us. Now if I have to frame a question, this is a statement. If I have to frame a question, what did I tell you we have to do? We will have to first bring the auxiliary verb. I told you is, are, am, was, were, have, has, had, and then you have do, does, did. So are is the auxiliary verb here and coming is the main verb. So we will be bringing the auxiliary verb here, are, and the subject here, you. So this you becomes in small letter obviously because it's not in the beginning of the sentence. Are you coming with us? See, it was so easy turning it, right? Changing it. So this becomes a question and thus it has a question mark at the end, not a full stop like this statement. So see, it was so easy to change it. This auxiliary verb, this subject comes here in the second place, and this auxiliary verb came right here, okay? Right here. So the structure is almost like this. Okay. Now let's see how we can understand this concept better, or we have any exercise to help us understand this. Okay. So now I told you that there are two types of interrogative sentences. First one can be the WH questions, and the second one is yes or no questions. So these questions that I wrote, like are you coming today, are you going there, children, now we are going to understand what are WH questions. Okay, so with this one, you look at this example. Okay, how do we use it in forming questions? Okay, first one is interrogative pronouns. So the words like who, whose and whom, okay, these words are used as interrogative pronouns for persons only. Okay, we are not going to use them for things. We are just going to use these three words for the persons only, for people only. So now let's go through some examples. First one is who has written this letter? Who has written this letter? So if you answer this question, let's see what we find out. Suppose I wrote Ramesh has written this letter. Now what are pronouns? You know, pronouns replace nouns, right? So they actually are used to used in place of nouns. So Ramesh has written this letter. So in place of Ramesh, I have used the word who. So that's make it clear that this can be an interrogative pronoun. Okay. Now number two, whose bag is this? Okay, whose bag is this? See this one. Then whom do you want to reward? Okay, children. So observe these three sentences. We have used these three words for people only. So whom, first who, then with, whose, and then whom are used for only persons, are used for persons only. Okay. Now we will be learning about some WH words, interrogative WH words, interrogative pronouns that are used also for things. Okay, because we know now what we use for people. With this who and whom, you need to understand how we will use these two words to frame a sentence. Who is used in the subject part, okay, that has to be used as the subject, and whom usually is asking about the object. Okay, if I tell you, maybe this thing is not clear, if I tell you that, let me give you an example of what I am trying to explain. Now I am talking about who and whom. Okay, now see here, who called you? You will never understand what an object or subject is until you answer this question or this interrogative sentence. Now let's answer it. We are not trying to answer it that way, but we are trying to find out that what the subject or object is. Okay, so here, who called you? Now see, I can write Mr. Sharma called you. Okay, Mr. Sharma called me or you can write anything, that is not the concern. So you can see with this subject answer, we have this as the answer, the subject part. Okay, who called you? Mr. Sharma called me. So both of these are subjects, right? So we can see that who, the word who, is always used as a subject of the sentence. Okay, so who is in the subject. This is the reason that we are referring whom as the object now. Now see this. Whom are you calling? Whom are you calling? Now I told you whom you are calling. This thing, okay, is asking about the object, that who is the person you are calling. So whom are you calling? Here you can answer, I am calling Mr. Sharma. Okay, I am calling Mr. Sharma. So now you can see how the subject here becomes an object when the question is asked with whom. Okay, so here Mr. Sharma is the answer. That's why we are not using who are you calling. I have to ask when the answer is in the object. Okay, when the answer is the object part, no, and not the subject part. So we will always remember that the question must start with whom. Okay, this was an important thing that I wanted to discuss. Now with the words what and which. What and which are also used with persons and also used with things. We will learn from examples what does this mean. Okay, how it can be used for both persons and things. So what and which is also used as an interrogative pronoun. So about who, whom and whose, we learned that this is always, these WH words are always used with, for persons only. Okay. But what do we learn? This is the thing we learned about who, whom and whose. Now what do we learn about what and which? What do we learn about these two words? That these WH words can be used with both persons and things. Okay. So I explained you this with examples, but I did not explain you this one. So we will be moving with this one now. So what did I tell you? That who, whom and whose, these WH words are always used for persons only. We are not going to use with thing. I cannot say who book are you giving. Okay, we cannot ask this question. So we have to use only persons when we are using these three words, and what and which can be used with both persons and things. We will find that out. We will find through examples. Okay. Now let me see. If you are saying what is he? See, this is used for person. The word what is used with a person. I told you it can be used with a person. So here you can see this means what? This means that I am asking about the profession. I am asking about the job of the person, right? What is he doesn't mean he is mad or something. I am asking about trade or profession. When I ask questions with what, I can ask for people of what job they are doing. What is used for persons to ask about their trade or profession, okay? What they do, what job they do. So for people we can see how we have used it. Now we will see how we can use it for things. Okay, what can also be used for things. So what is in your bag? I am asking the thing, I am asking about the thing that is in your bag. What is in your bag? So what can also be used, this word what can be used for the things also. So what we are going to write? We are going to write what is used to ask about things also, okay? So I hope you understood the example. See, we are asking about the thing that is in your bag. Now moving to... Now children, let it be till here only for today. We will meet in another lesson. Bye-bye.